Are you ready to explore the dark side of the Poconos? Forget the romantic getaways and scenic hikes for a moment. Tonight, we're diving into the shadows, exploring the top 3 most haunted places in this famous mountain range. From spectral guests who never checked out to the lingering spirits of wrongly accused men, these stories will send a shiver down your spine. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin our journey into the haunted Poconos. First on our list is the historic Jim Thorpe Inn. Picture this: you're sound asleep in your hotel room, and you suddenly wake up. You feel a weight on the bed, and when your eyes adjust to the dark, you see a figure sitting right at the edge of your mattress. Or maybe you're just drifting off when the TV abruptly turns on by itself, blasting static into the silent room. These aren't scenes from a horror movie. They're actual experiences reported by guests at the Jim Thorpe Inn. For years, people dismissed these tales as overactive imaginations or even Halloween pranks. But the sheer volume of reports became impossible to ignore. Guests have reported seeing chairs hanging upside down from the ceiling, objects moving on their own, and hearing disembodied whispers in empty hallways. The activity became so persistent that paranormal investigators and ghost hunters flocked to the inn, hoping to capture proof of the supernatural. And capture it they did. Armed with EVP recorders, EMF meters, and thermal cameras, investigators have documented some truly unusual moments. They've recorded clear electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, of voices speaking when no one was there. They've captured footage of shadowy figures darting down corridors, and have seen their equipment go haywire in specific rooms, indicating a strong electromagnetic field, a classic sign of paranormal activity. The history of the inn might hold the key to its haunting. Originally known as the White Swan Hotel, it was built in 1833 during the peak of the region's booming coal era. It was a luxurious establishment that hosted some of the most famous figures of the time. We're talking about people like President William H. Taft, the legendary Buffalo Bill, the brilliant inventor Thomas Edison, and the business magnate John D. Rockefeller. They all walked these halls and slept in these rooms. Could it be their spirits, or the spirits of others from that vibrant era who have decided to stay? Tragedy is also woven into the fabric of this building. In 1849, a devastating fire burned the original hotel to the ground. It was quickly rebuilt and given a new name, the New American Hotel, which later became the Jim Thorpe Inn we know today. Fires are traumatic events, often trapping energy and spirits within a location. Perhaps some souls from that tragic fire never left, forever bound to the spot where their lives were altered. The combination of its glamorous past and tragic history makes the Jim Thorpe Inn a hotbed for paranormal encounters, a place where the veil between our world and the next seems incredibly thin. Next, we venture to a place with a reputation so chilling it's known simply as the Henryville House. This location isn't haunted by 1 or 2 spirits. According to some reports, it's home to as many as 9 different entities. The supposed spectral residents include 5 women, 3 men, and even a child. While paranormal investigators have debated the exact number, the last family to live in the house was convinced of at least one very active ghost, a woman who made her presence known in terrifying ways. Imagine trying to sleep while your entire bed begins to shake violently, as if an earthquake is centered directly underneath you. Imagine lying in the dark, hearing the distinct sound of footsteps approaching your bedroom door, only to find no one there when you work up the courage to look. The family that resided here didn't have to imagine it. They lived it. They reported items flying off shelves and being thrown across rooms with incredible force, objects they knew were securely placed just moments before. The most prominent theory about the haunting centers on the ghost of a woman. Local legend says she was the wife of a former owner who, in a moment of despair, took her own life inside the building. Such a tragic event can create a powerful and lasting spiritual imprint on a location, replaying the intense emotions of that final moment over and over again. This female spirit is believed to be the one responsible for the most aggressive and frightening activity in the house. But the Henryville house wasn't always a place of fear. In its early days, it was just another building, part of a thriving community. However, the house fell into disuse and sat empty for a long time. Abandoned places often seem to attract unseen forces, as if the emptiness creates a vacuum for spirits to fill. To make matters even eerier, the property is located near a large, old cemetery. The proximity to so many graves undoubtedly contributes to the high level of paranormal occurrences. Rumors even persist that the graveyard is the final resting place for many Native Americans, adding another layer of deep, ancient history to the land. The combination of a tragic past, a long period of abandonment, and a nearby cemetery has turned the Henryville house into a perfect storm of paranormal energy. Our final, and perhaps most terrifying, destination is the old jail museum in Jim Thorpe. This place isn't just haunted, it's steeped in a dreadful and oppressive history that you can feel the moment you step inside. The cold, damp stone walls seem to hold the misery of everyone who was ever imprisoned here. Visitors and staff alike report seeing shadowy figures flitting in the corners of their eyes, hearing disembodied voices echoing from empty cells, and feeling an overwhelming sense of being watched. Some have even claimed that spirits here are trying to communicate, desperate to tell their stories. The conditions in this jail were horrific. Prisoners were often forced into dungeons, living in squalor and darkness under the most dreadful circumstances imaginable. The sheer amount of human suffering that occurred within these walls is enough to leave a permanent scar on the location. But the most famous haunting is tied to a specific group of prisoners, the Molly Maguires. The Molly Maguires were a secret society of Irish-American coal miners in the 19th century. They were accused of being a terrorist organization, blamed for a series of violent acts in the coal fields of Pennsylvania and Virginia as they fought for better working conditions. In a highly controversial series of trials, many were convicted and sentenced to hang. 7 of these men met their end right here at the old jail. One of these men, a prisoner named Alexander Campbell, maintained his innocence until the very last moment of his life. As the guards came to take him to the gallows, he proclaimed his innocence one last time. In a final, desperate act of defiance, he slammed his hand against the wall of his cell 17, and declared, "This handprint will remain here forever as proof of my innocence." And here's the chilling part, it has. The handprint is still there today, a dark, ghostly smudge on the plaster wall. No matter how many times the wall has been washed, scrubbed, or even replastered and painted over, the handprint always bleeds back through. It serves as a permanent, ghostly reminder of a man who claimed his innocence to his dying breath. Visiting the old jail museum isn't just a history lesson. It's a chilling encounter with a past that refuses to be silenced. From the spectral guests of the Jim Thorpe to the defiant handprint in the old jail museum, the Poconos are filled with stories that blur the line between history and horror. These places hold the echoes of tragedy, injustice, and lives cut short, leaving us to wonder what really lies beyond the veil. Thanks for joining me on this spooky tour. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the unknown. Stay safe and keep exploring.